Good morning, children. Since last week, we are doing Evans Tries an O Level, a detective yarn, where we have read the governor of the Oxford prison contacts the secretary of the examination board on telephone in early March in connection with one of his prisoners, Evans, who wants to get some academic qualification and is very intelligent man. So, governor makes arrangement with the help of his fellow beings at the Oxford prison where Evans is allowed to write the O-level German examination in his own cell. At 8:30 a.m. on the examination day, two prison officers, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Stephens, a newly recruited officer, visit Evans' cell. Jackson instructs Stephens to take away everything that may help Evans injure himself, especially advises him to take away the razor after Evans has shaved himself. Jackson is particularly critical of Evans' filthy looking red and white bobble hat, but somehow does not insist on its removal as Evans considers it a lucky charm. As Evans is busy shaving himself, Stephens makes preparations for the conduct of the examination. Reverend S. McCleary, the invigilator, makes his entry in the prison premises and is escorted to Evans' cell, who is found concentrating on his German grammar. At 9:10, the governor switches on the receiver and expresses to Mr. Jackson his fear. McCleary is frisked. His things, his suitcase too, is riffled cursorily through, and the presence of a small semi-inflated rubber ring surprises Mr. Jackson. McCleary gives necessary instructions to the candidate regarding the writing down the papers and name 0211, index number 313, center number 271. So examination has begun a little late. The 2 hours examination was supposed to begin at 9:15 a.m. but it was already 9:20 now. We are on page number 78, children. McCleary says, I am now going to. Evans obstructs him in between by saying, he is not going to stay here, is he? Evans is talking about Stephens and expresses that if Stephens is going to stay there, he will not be able to write the paper well. McCleary says, I don't know about that. Stephens says, Mr. Jackson's given me strict instructions to. So Stephen is saying that Mr. Jackson has asked him to stay there and keep a watch on Evans. Evans says, how am I supposed to concentrate on my exam with someone breathing down my neck? Christ, sorry sir, I didn't mean. It means Evans says that I did not want to speak like that, but I cannot write the examination till the man stands on my head. The governor reaches for the phone because he is listening on the other end, the recording instrument. Jackson, good. Get Stephens out of that cell, will you? I think we are perhaps overdoing things. So governor also feels that they were overdoing things. He has already said before also, schoolboyish perhaps. So they felt that they were overdoing things and it would be better if Stephens was asked to move out of the cell. To this, Mr. Jackson replies, as you wish, sir. The governor heard the exchanges in the cell, heard the door clang once more, and heard McCleary announce that examination had begun at last. It was 9:25 a.m. and there was a great calm. At 9:40 a.m., the examinations board rang through and the assistant secretary with special responsibility for modern languages asked to speak to the governor. The examination had already started, no doubt. So assistant secretary with special responsibility asked the governor if examination of Evans had begun. Ah, a quarter of an hour ago. This was the reply of the governor to him. Quarter of an hour ago means 15 minutes before. So it was 9:40 and governor portrayed the real picture. He told truth. Honestly he spoke that 15 minutes before, that is at 9:25, the examination had begun. Yes, well, there was a correction slip which some fool had forgotten to place in the examination package. Very brief. Could you, the governor, please? So the assistant secretary said that he wanted to give some like reference to the invigilator so that the examinee can be told the correction. There was a correction slip and somebody fool had forgotten to place in the examination package. Yes, of course, I will put you straight through to Mr. Jackson in D Wing. Hold the line minute. So governor said that he will be connecting him to Mr. Jackson. Was this the sort of thing the governor had feared? Was the phone call a fake? Some signal, some secret message? But he could check on that immediately. How? He dialed the number of the examination board, but heard only the staccato bleeps of a line engaged. But then the line was engaged, wasn't it? Yes, not very intelligent that. So, children, the governor was afraid already, you know that, and that is why he had made so many arrangements. So, he felt that it might be possible that the phone call that came in the name of examination board could be a fake. It could be a signal, it could be a secret message. So, what did he do? He checked on immediately by ringing again to the examination board. But it appeared that the line was engaged and he could hear only the staccato bleeps. 2 minutes later, he heard some whispered communication in the cell, and then McCleary's broad Scots voice. Broad Scots voice, the accent he's talking about. Will you please stop writing a wee while, Mr. Evans, and listen carefully. Candidates offering German 0 to 1 should note the following correction. On page 3, line 15, the fourth word should read goldenen, not goldeen, and the whole phrase will therefore read zum goldenen Lauwen, not zum goldeen Lauwen. I will repeat that. The governor listened and smiled. He had taken German in the sixth form himself, and he remembered all about the agreement of adjectives. So here, children, the governor, it appears that has also studied a little German, and he says that he had taken in the sixth form class, you can say category, you can say like as we choose the subject for ourselves, optional subjects like language, sixth subject as language. So he had taken in the sixth form himself the German, and he remembered all about the agreement of adjectives. So he knew a little grammar of German. And so did McCleary by the sound of things, and it appeared McCleary also knew a little grammar of German. For the minister's pronunciation was most impressive. But what about Evans? He probably didn't know what an adjective was. But Evans did not know anything in German. The phone rang again. The magistrate's court. They needed a prison van and a couple of prison officers. Remand case. And within 2 minutes, the governor was wondering whether that could be a hoax. He told himself not to be so silly. His imagination was beginning to run riot. So, children, there were 2 phone calls to the governor. The first call was made, as it is written here, from the examination board, and when governor wanted to check it, he could hear only the staccato bleeps. Staccato is, children, a series of short detached sounds or words, and bleep is a short high pitched sound made by an electronic device. So governor could hear only that. Now it was the second time that the phone was ringing, and this time also it was coming from the magistrate court, and this time also the governor felt that it could be a hoax, it could be a part of plan of Ivan's, because they were calling the couple of prison officers. So the governor was thinking it might be possible that all the officers are called and then Evans get opportunity to run away from here. So it could be anything behind. Evans. For the first quarter of an hour, Stephens had dutifully peered through the peephole at intervals of 1 minute or so, and after that, every 2 minutes. So, there on the other side, Evans was writing the examination, and as Stephens was instructed, he was standing at the cell door. Now, he was looking into the cell of Evans, who was writing the examination through the peepholes at interval. Now, to the peephole at intervals means the interval of 1 minute before, and then later on, what did he do? He thought that it would be like it was all the same, almost the same. Whenever he was looking into the through the peephole into the cell, it was almost the same. So he thought that better he should look at 2 minutes of interval. At 10:45 a.m., everything was still all right as he looked through the peephole once more. It took 4 or 5 seconds, no more. What was the point? It was always more or less the same. Evans, his pen between his lips, sat staring straight in front of him, towards the door, seeking, it seemed, some sorely needed inspiration from somewhere. And opposite him, McCleary, seated slightly askew from the table now, his face in semi profile. So, here the writer says that there was no point in looking inside, Stephens felt, and he felt that whether he was looking at 1 minute interval, 2 minute interval, or more a few seconds, it was almost the same. Evans was looking for some sorely needed inspiration from somewhere, and McCleary, who was slightly askew means in a slanting position, he was sitting now from the table, and in a semi profile state, he was visible by Stephens. Stephens could see him in a semi profile state. His hair, as Stephens had noticed earlier, a maturishly clipped. So they were not refinedly, you can say in a refined manner, the hair were not cut. Clipped pretty closely to the scalp, his eyes behind the pebble lenses peering short-sightedly at the church Times. So he was reading continuously the church Times. Who? McCleary. His right index finger hooked beneath. Here he as if he is holding something like the narrow clerical collar, it is written. Hooked beneath the narrow clerical collar, he was holding with the right index finger. And the fingers of the left hand, the nails meticulously manicured. Beautifully they were trimmed, they were shaped. The nails slowly stroking the short black beard, and he was stroking the black beard. At 10:50 a.m., the receiver crackled to life, and the governor realized he had almost forgotten Evans for a few minutes. Evans, please, sir, a whisper. Evans says, please, sir, louder. Would you mind if I put a blanket round me? Now, Evans is asking to McCleary if he could put a blanket on his shoulders. It's a bit parky in here, isn't it? Silence. Evans, there is one on me bunk here, sir. So Evans is saying that there is a blanket put on his bunk and he would like to put the blanket on his shoulder because he was feeling a little cold. So he means to say that he will be comfortably able to write the examination if he puts the blanket on his shoulder. McCleary says, be quick about it. And then again there is silence in the cell.